So the Warriors finished preseason in undefeated 6-0. Cap off the final game of preseason with a 58-point beatdown of the Lakers. Let's get it. Now look, I'm not going to roast the Lakers because they were playing their D squad. Not B, but D squad on the second night of the back-to-back. And with everyone available for Golden State outside of Steph Curry, it wasn't really a fair fight. So I'm going to shoot them some bail this one time. As for the game, even though it was against a bona fide G League team, it was still a lot we could take from it. The first takeaway, with Steph Curry out, I like the starting unit with DeAnthony Melton in there. So we had Melton, Wiggins, Kuminga, Draymond, and TJD. They played well off each other, and everyone in the lineup was a plus defender. Another thing I like about this lineup, everyone's a good athlete. Melton, pretty solid athlete. Wiggins, really good athlete. Kuminga, S-tier athlete. Draymond, although not a great athlete, he makes up for it in other ways. And then you got TJD, who's a really good athlete. With Steph out, Draymond took on more of the playmaking responsibilities. And ended the first quarter with 5 assists. He was in complete control of the offense and set up his teammates for great looks. Here's what Steve Kerr had to say about this lineup combination.
I thought Melt really did a good job of kind of connecting that group. Draymond played a fantastic first half, didn't take a shot, but controlled the whole game. I like the size and athleticism with that lineup, so it sets a good tone for us on the defensive end.
Melton has great chemistry with TJD already. They've connected on multiple lobs throughout preseason. And if it's not a lob, Melton's constantly looking for TJD for dump-off passes in the paint. I actually think Melton's a very capable backup point guard. He's pretty safe with the ball. It doesn't take too many risks when trying to play make. I think between Steph, Paz, and Melton, the Warriors have their 3 point guards. Then you also got Draymond and Kyle Anderson, who are both point forwards. So the Warriors are covered in terms of ball handlers. A few other takeaways. TJD took Jackson Hayes' lunch money, bruh. Dude just got bullied and outplayed in every aspect of the game. But anyways, Kerr told TJD, as well as Kuminga and Wiggins, that they have to run the court hard at every opportunity.
Run the floor. We talk to him all the time. When he sprints the floor, you can feel it. And I say the same thing to JK and Wiggs. We need those guys to get out and sprint. I think Trace, the last 3 games in particular, has been doing that. And he and Melt have a nice connection on those lob passes. Yeah, Trace has had a good camp. It's fun watching him.
As Kerr said in his presser, in transition is where their athletic gifts really shine. Getting downhill on a fast break, putting pressure on their defense to account for them, which could lead to either a dunk for them or a wide open 3 for a teammate.
JK was good. Again, we're really pushing him to run the floor. That's his gift, his athleticism, his speed. He has a tendency at times to kind of get into a home run trot instead of Usain Bolt and sprinting and, as fast as he can. And when he does that, you feel the impact. He sprints the floor, he might get a dunk, or he'll pull a defender with him. Somebody else gets an open shot because of him.
With the amount of shooters that the Warriors got this season, teams are going to have to pick their poison. Either hug the Warriors shooters on the perimeter, and you got to deal with TJD, Kuminga, and Wiggins getting downhill with an advantage, or defend the basket and honor them as a downhill threat, which leads to kick out opportunities for the Warriors shooters. You got Steph Curry running to this corner. You got Buddy Hield running to that corner. You got Lindy Waters in the game. You got Moody who's knocked down. You got Melton who you can't leave. Bro, this offense is going to be nasty. The Warriors are going to be a much improved transition team this season. All right, now let's go in depth on the Warriors roster right before opening night. Now, Steve Kerr hasn't revealed a starting 5 yet, but I'm under the assumption he's going to go with Steph Curry, Wiggins, Kuminga, Draymond Green, and TJD. This seems like the lineup that gives them the best chance at establishing themselves as a top 5 defense, which is something the Warriors are striving for this season. This is the biggest lineup they can go with a lot of length and athleticism across the board. Off the bench, the Warriors would essentially be going with a 3-guard lineup: Pods, Melton, and Buddy Hield. Slow-Mo's your primary backup power forward, and Looney's your center. It should also be noted that GP2 and Moody are going to be in the mix with the second stringers. The Warriors have an abundance of depth at the wing and guard positions. This is what Kerr means when he says he has a lot of tough decisions to make.
We have a whole roster full of guys who are capable of being in the rotation. I have some really difficult decisions to make Wednesday night in Portland. Literally every guy on our roster is capable of being in the rotation, which bodes well for the 82-game season. I think we're going to be well suited to play through injuries. And any other absences, we're well prepared and well stocked to put a really good group of players out there. But it makes for difficult decisions, and we'll see where we go on Wednesday. But no matter how you slice it, we're going to have to leave some good players out of the rotation. I don't know who that's going to be right now. I haven't made up my mind because I haven't seen the separation because they've all been really good.
Another positive that Kerr mentioned: the Warriors are well equipped for injuries. Now, obviously, if Steph gets injured, that's always going to be tough to overcome no matter what. But now you got Paz and DeAnthony Melton. Anytime Steph's out, the offense is going to be shaky. But in those instances, the Warriors are going to have to lean defense. Yes, their offense won't be able to score as many points, but they could win a lot of regular season games by making it ugly defensively. It's going to be a dogfight, bro. The Warriors got a lot of defensive personnel. If Draymond misses time, they got Kyle Anderson who can step in and be a point forward, run the exact same actions, and be a very solid defensive presence. Yes, he's not Draymond Green, but with him on the roster, they're way more equipped to deal with a Draymond absence than they were before. Now we know the Warriors are loaded at the wing and guard positions. But what about the front court? Now the question is is a front court of Draymond, TJD, Kyle Anderson, Kevon Looney. Good enough of a front court to be in the same tier as the elite teams in the league. Does this front court provide enough spacing and scoring to take some of the offensive load off the rest of the roster? On paper, it doesn't seem like it, which is why the Warriors might need to trade for a front court player down the line. A player with a little more size that can provide inside scoring or stretch big. Now, one thing to keep in mind is although the front court lacks spacing and scoring, this front court has a lot of defense, playmaking, and basketball IQ. Draymond Green, high basketball IQ, point forward, generational defender. Kyle Anderson, high basketball IQ, point forward, versatile defender. Looney, very smart player, good decision maker, great rebounder, and sound defender. You can clearly see a common theme here. While these strengths don't completely make up for their lack of scoring and spacing, it does give them an identity. A very high IQ, defensive-minded front court of playmakers. Next up, let's speak on some Moody and Kuminga contract news. As has been reported, the Warriors are working on contract extensions with both Kuminga and Moody. Kuminga is a lot less likely as he's holding out for a max contract, while Moody and the Warriors agreeing to a number is way more realistic. A contract that's around a $13 million per year range has been discussed. First of all, I think $13 million a year for Moody is a bargain, and having him on that contract going forward is great value for the Warriors. Moody's at the very least primed to be a really good role player for a long time, and $13 million per year for a good role player, that's a wing. That's a 3-and-D player that has length on the perimeter. That's a steal, bro, especially when you consider the salary cap goes up every year. Now, some of y'all might be asking, why would Moody agree to that cheap contract? Well, the reason is he hasn't had a consistent role since he got into the league. His minutes and role have fluctuated every season. So now it's getting to a point where he has to decide, like, look, is it better to just take that guaranteed money and lock in some financial security, or gamble in free agency and potentially get less? Based off everything we've seen, we know he should be playing more than he has, but it's just hard to project that into a contract number. As for Kuminga, I don't think this one gets done. Kuminga seems way more willing to bet on himself. In his mind, he's a max player, and he's probably thinking, if I have a breakout season, maybe make an all-star team, I'm gonna get my max contract. And I will say, if Kuminga does make an all-star team, which is possible if he's a 20-point per game scorer this season, and the Warriors are doing well in the standings, if it plays out like that, he's definitely getting the max. So for him, we don't know how much the Warriors are offering, but it could very well be half of what his max contract would be. So that's generational wealth he could possibly be leaving on the table. But anyways, man, I'm excited for the season because I know at the very least, this is gonna be a fun, exciting team. With their new emphasis on being a fast-paced team that shoots a lot of threes and Ds up, that's gonna make for some exciting Warriors basketball. They attempted 42 threes per game in preseason and have the making of an elite defensive team. I think Golden State is extremely underrated, and I think they're about to punch a lot of teams in the mouth. Come October 23rd, that's when the real fun begins. But anyways, that's all I got for y'all. If I entertained you or you learned something new, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. I'll holler at you on the next one. Peace.